right, well, hello and welcome to Northwest Psychology. This is our spotlight segment that we've started to do, and this week we have Kelly Williams with us. So thank you for jumping in here, Kelly.
Thanks for having me.
So just a couple of questions, and we're going to keep this short so that people can digest everything that you give them. But I guess the first question that people might have is if they're coming to a session with you, what does that look like?
Yeah, so typically I start a session by checking in with how things have been going since we last met. Sessions last 50 minutes and can be in person at our office or held virtually over Zoom. We might do a mix of activities in the session, like practicing grounding techniques together, identifying thoughts and emotions that have come up for the client recently, talking through experiences that might have happened since we last saw each other, or even exploring past experiences that might be linked to the presenting problems that they're having now. If you had homework in between sessions, we might review this homework together as well.
Awesome. And I don't know if people know, they probably do, but there's lots of different ways that therapists approach their sessions. So what approach do you have?
So I typically use cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, as my therapeutic approach. So CBT looks at the interactions between thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in order to address the challenges that someone is facing. It's really easy for busy adults to lose track of their thoughts and recognize how these thoughts are impacting them. So CBT helps clients learn to pause and non-judgmentally assess whether the thought that they're having is helpful or unhelpful. The activity of thought tracking is something that's often used in CBT, and it helps clients identify the thoughts that are coming up. And then what we do in session is kind of dig down into these unhelpful thoughts to identify some core beliefs that a client might be having about themselves that are influencing the thought patterns that they're having. Overall, right. CBT, sorry.
Go ahead.
Overall, CBT tries to shift thinking patterns to be less self-defeating, more flexible, and more rational.
Perfect. Thank you. Sorry for interrupting you, jumping in there. So I guess one of the other things, and this would be a very common question, I would imagine, if somebody does decide to come to therapy and sessions with you, how often would that be? How often would they see you?
Yeah. Again, frequency of sessions is dependent on what a client's schedule allows, and sometimes on the severity of the presenting challenges that they're coming into therapy with. So ideally, we would start by having sessions weekly or every second week in order to build a sense of safety and comfort in our relationship. Sessions might become less frequent after we've established a rapport and once the client feels more stabilized in their current challenges.
Right, so there's really no one answer for that. It depends on the client, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I did hear you mention before something about homework, and it's been a very long time since I've done homework, and probably lots of your clients have. So what is this homework that you're talking about?
So yeah, CBT does typically use between session homework, which can just help clients feel like the work they're doing is more concrete and measurable. So an example of a common homework assignment for CBT is keeping something called the thought record, which is essentially just a journal that describes some of the thoughts that have popped up for the clients throughout their week. It can be helpful to keep a thought journal and then bring it into session so that the client and myself can go through the thoughts that have come up and then identify how we might be able to shift those thoughts so that they can become more helpful. That being said, if homework or using worksheets isn't for you, we can adjust this to make sure that you're still finding therapy effective, but in a way that suits you better.
Great. So there's no one size fits all in any of your approaches here, it seems, which is great.
No, not really. Yeah.
So as well, if a client is going to come and see you, and I imagine there's probably some concerns where there's some touchy topics that they might not want to talk about. So if I come to you and I don't want to talk about something, how does that work? Do you make us talk about things?
No, the topics we explore in session are completely up to the client. You'd never be pushed to explore areas or experiences that you feel unprepared to revisit. Therapy is always taken at a pace that feels comfortable and safe for the client. That's our top priority. If you are coming into therapy with the goal of addressing past experiences that you haven't addressed before, that feel really difficult to explore, we would first work on your ability to tolerate the discomfort of the topics or experiences. So we might work on coping skills that would help a client feel okay exploring the difficult topic before just jumping right into it.
Right. So again, there's no easy answer for that. Hey, it really does depend on the person again. All right. Awesome. So we know what a session looks like with you and what type of approach you have. How often that people should be coming to therapy, and is there homework, which there is sometimes. Not for everyone though, obviously. And what you do where there's touchy topics that somebody might not want to talk about.
Yeah.
For anybody who's watching this who might have thought about seeking therapy and is kind of on the fence or concerned, is there anything else that you might have for them for advice or anything?
Yeah, just that we understand that going to therapy can feel really intimidating, but just know that we're here to support you in a way that suits you specifically. So you're always welcome to book a phone consultation, which costs nothing, to just see if we might be the right fit for you. There's no pressure to book a session afterwards, but if you are hoping to start therapy, you're welcome to book an initial session at a time that works best for you.
That's awesome. So you're making it nice and easy and giving people the opportunity to see if they're comfortable working with you then, which is great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, Kelly, thanks for joining us and giving us all these little tidbits. Hopefully people found some value in that for sure. We look forward to perhaps speaking to you again, but if they need to get in contact with you, they can jump online, go to northwestpsychology.ca and do online booking from there. So thanks again, Kelly.
Great. Thank you so much.